Spooky Tuesday.
There's not much of a future in Shady Side with a lesbo. Best case is what? Dead on the mall floor after a double shift? Or maybe if you're really lucky, you're the one carrying the knife.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
And this week, are we ready to walk down a street of fear for the first time?
How beautifully said. And I would say yes to answer your question.
Chelsea, what about you? Are you ready to walk down the street of fear? That is Fear Street Part 1, 1994. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
A hot girl walk down Fear Street.
Stroll, a little strut down Fear Street.
Work.
Slay the house down boots.
Do a little death drop on Fear Street.
Yeah, a little. For pride. I felt honestly not good saying that, by the way. I didn't feel good about how that came out. But it's okay. You know, we are trying things out. Sometimes pride is about experimenting with your presentation, what you're doing with your whole gay shit. So, you know.
Maybe we're going to try death drops now. No. If I tried a death drop, I would die. It would be
break something.
My death.
Drop death. Yeah,
exactly.
That's okay. It's not for us. Other people can do it though. Good for them.
No, I would.
And we'll just enjoy
get a compound fracture.
Yeah, break that other collarbone.
Well, if you, dear listener, haven't walked down Fear Street and are ready to walk down Fear Street, I'm going to read the IMDb tagline that I absolutely did not make up, that I do read verbatim every single time in dramatic effects.
Yeah.
A circle of teenage friends accidentally encounter an ancient evil responsible for a series of brutal murders that have plagued their town for over 300 years. Welcome to Shady Side.
I'm sorry, the little part at the end really got me. I forgot like how intense the Shady Side versus Sunnydale was. It Sunnydale?
Sunnyvale.
Vale. I'm so sorry. Sunnyvale like beef is in this movie, and it is like the whole thing. I totally forgot about this because I think we all watched this back right when it came out. Sydney, you'd seen it, or did you?
I'd seen half of it.
Okay, yeah. How did you feel after experiencing it wholly and fully this time around?
Oh boy, golly gee. I will say though, and we'll talk about it later, it has one of my favorite death scenes in a movie that I've seen so far.
I have a feeling I know which one.
Yeah, it has to be a particular one. And it is fantastic.
It is spectacular.
But yeah, when this came out last summer, they were showing them in a park in Los Angeles. And like, I don't remember if we watched this one together for one of our Spooky Tuesdays back in the day, or if we all watched it separately and then some of us went to the park to watch the other two. I don't remember the other two that well because it was hard to hear and see things in the park, but I had such a blast with the first one. And Sydney, have you seen either of the other two parts of it?
I haven't.
Okay, Monica, you've seen part 2 because we went together.
Yeah, I've watched all 3 of them. I've watched all 3. I loved the second one the most. But that's because I love Sadie Sink so much. So that was giving me everything that I wanted, and also it was giving me the 70s, the aesthetic that I've come to love. And that's the one that we went and saw in the park together, and we got to dress all 70s together, and it was very cute. We have all those photos of us giving each other piggyback rides. So, you know,
I was very jealous of y'all doing that. I remember seeing all the pictures and also realizing how short Chelsea, you and friend of the pod
Stop.
Rebecca are standing next to Monica and friend of the pod Danny.
Yeah, y'all
Podcast
are those
guests,
guys.
Rebecca and Danny. Now they've both been on the podcast. That's fun.
I know, the whole crew. But yeah, I mean, I like this movie. It is super fun. It is also hokey as shit at times, and sometimes the writing is something else. Like the
writing
dialogue.
is writing.
The dialogue. Sometimes I'm like, has anyone said something like that before? Maybe not. Maybe we're forging a new path. But like I do like
innovation is great.
yeah. Okay. Not
It's
all
so important to
innovation
be a
is great. Have you seen
trailblazer.
iRobot? That went a little wrong. I just like someone should have a count of how many times I bring up iRobot like in a month, because it's not just once, it's multiple times. But anyway, I liked rewatching this a lot, and I really like the opening scene. But that's also probably because can you sense a theme that I love all the Stranger Things girlies? I love Maya Hawke so much. Maya Hawke, excuse me.
Maya Hawke,
so
that's how
sorry.
you pronounce her
Maya
name,
Hawke.
please.
Her name, okay?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I love Maya Hawke so much. Her opening is so great. We get her being spunky, sicey is now a word that we have.
Sicey.
I don't know what I was trying to say. Sexy, maybe.
Spicy, sexy.
Here's
Spicy
the thing.
and sexy together.
She gets her own Drew Barrymore moment. And
yeah.
I think she deserves that. Like because here's the thing, like out of all of the actors in this movie, like Maya Hawke is like that it girl. She was coming off of the season 3 of Stranger Things. You know, she's queen. She's like a likable Nepo baby. Like we love that.
Talented nepotism baby.
Also,
Exactly.
it's bringing in the lesbian vibes very early because she's just come off of her gay ass Stranger Things role. So like they were setting the ground, they're setting the stage for how gay it was going to become, you know, which we appreciate that. Foreshadowing, if you will. I also love so much that half of the violence happens in like one of those fucking mall stores like Spencer's. I don't know what it was called in this, but like and it might be called something different in different places. Oz gives off a similar vibe sometimes too if you go into the sex section in the back, because they used to have those. But a Spencer's is such a time and a place. All the weed paraphernalia, all the weird sex stuff. You'd always go in there when you were at the mall in like middle school with your friends and be like, I'm an adult. Look, I'm next to something illicit. So I really enjoyed that. That's where like all the violence was going down. And that's where the skull costume came from. So good.
Something, you know, more explaining about me, who I am as an adult. My parents used to take me to Spencer's every time we would go to the mall. Like I would always go with like my father to Spencer.
Hell yeah. That's scams.
Like
that
they would bring you in?
Sense.
Yeah. Or you would want to go in and they went in with you?
Both. Depends on the day. Like my dad would sometimes be like, we got to get some stuff at Spencer's. And I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go look at the weird like stuff. And
I'm gonna peek at the vibrators. Yeah.
I remember one time being like, Dad, what's this? Holding like a giant dildo. And he was just like, Cindy, put that back. And I was like, what is this?
He didn't answer the question. It was an educational moment, an educational opportunity.
My parents never gave me the sex talk, but I did give them.
You just figured it out.
I figured it out the hard way. But when my parents did get divorced, I set them both down individually and gave them the sex talk. I was like, listen, everything has changed. I scared my dad so bad about HPV that he had to call his doctor.
Good.
God, good for you.
If he's gonna be out on the town, you got to make sure he's safe. Okay, you're doing
responsible.
Like, listen, you are my parents. y'all are gonna be hoes. I know where I get it from. Okay.
Yes.
Do it responsibly.
Yeah.
It's smart. It's smart. And also it just makes so much sense that your dad, as a man who worked for a radio station, would probably need to get some whack shit at Spencer's from time to time. That really makes a lot of sense to me. That shit comes up. But yeah, the opening scene is one of my favorite parts. I remember there being more of a preamble to it, but it's just like Brian immediately becomes a murderer, like right away.
It's very Scream. It's like literally the final kill part of it is like the choreography is pretty much the same. Like they're going so hard on the homages. Not just in part one, in all of the parts, but especially in part one. Like there are so many moments that are a direct, clear reference to other very famous horror movies. And I think it's so fun.
Oh, of course. I mean, and it makes sense because this is the 90s one. This is 1994, which is before obviously Scream came out in the real world, but Scream is a 90s horror movie. So good choice with choosing that one to be the one that you copy for this movie. You know what I mean? Like the second one is a total homage to like Sleepaway Camp or, you know, Friday the 13th, all of those camp related ones, you know. And then no one can say what 1664 or whatever the fuck the last one is copying. Is it copying
it's the Witch?
The Witch?
Yeah, it totally is.
That's disrespectful to the witch, but
do they
we
won't
get
into
that? More and lesbian. So honestly, they did them a favor.
The last one is the one I remember the least because I could not pay attention to it. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, the witch part of the part 3 didn't do it for me, but then I really liked the second half of the movie.
I forgot about the second half.
Yeah, I think if I watched
classic,
I'm kind of watching part 1 again made me want to revisit part 2 and part 3 because I would like to maybe see them in an environment I can control a little more, just to like get like all the bits and bobs. Yeah. Like the lightness in the room, nobody's little heads poking up over me. But I don't know. I think that the first one is so fun. I know it's like a little hokey, a little corny, like you're saying, but also to me, like that's such a vibe. I know we have different like tastes in quote unquote bad sometimes, what makes a bad movie good. But this one hits all the spots for me. Like iconic opening, lesbians right out the gate. I remember the first time we watched it, I was watching it with somebody because in the first bathroom scene where she's complaining, I was like, Sam is a woman, Sam is a girl, this is gay. I already know it. They're not saying any pronouns. They're gonna do a special reveal. I was so thrilled.
Okay, first of all, look at Dina. I'm sorry. Her name's Dina for one. Dina with 2 E's, like Jesus Christ. Like her whole vibe is very, very gay. I remember the first time I watched this, I was like, oh, I'm not thrilled with the actress who plays Dina. I was an idiot. I'm obsessed with her now. I thought she was iconic. But the thing that's so fucking funny about this movie, like we love that it is a gay movie. We are baffled and also in love with the fact that it's like a jump scare when you find out Sam's a girl. It's like they're gay. Boo, they're gay.
They really held that back as a plot twist. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they're and like Sam or Dina's like sitting on the ground like sad, and all of a sudden she's like, you know, and it's Sam, and it's like she's a woman, like they're gay.
Lesbians.
I mean, you know,
lesbian.
I was surprised when I figured it out for myself as well. So I guess that is a true to life experience. But it was really funny.
It is funny though. It is funny because like they very much don't use any pronouns in the bathroom scene. They either say your ex or they say Sam. And then when we first get our glimpse of Sam, when they're like outside for the pep rally, the vigil, not pep rally, for the vigil, it's like you see her with Peter, her new BF, and he's like groping her. But so the camera kind of wants you to think it's the guy that she's looking at, even though like who gives a shit about Peter? Nobody cares about Peter. He's not part of the plot.
He's not even that
Peter is so grab assy at a
He literally
vigil.
well, I guess I don't watch people grab other people's asses a lot, but like his form was like a lot for me. I was like, oh,
That's some
it's a
teenage straight
two-hand
dude
hand
ass
grab.
Like,
Yeah.
relax.
He
It's
was like,
very
I'm gonna get
aggressive.
every part of this ass right now. Like he was very thorough with the grab, I guess, and good for him,
Honestly,
but it's
maybe
not for
that's
me.
nice. Maybe no part of that butt should have been left out. Like,
That's true. She wants to feel supported, okay? I know that I feel supported when I'm wearing jeans that lift, so I guess
sure.
I get it.
I'm gonna cut this out, but I was watching a porn last night and the guy was like doing a lot of like touching beforehand. And I was just like, that's nice. More people should do that.
More
There
people
should
should
be
lift
more
my whole ass up.
stroking, touching, caressing. Let's get the foreplay going.
Maybe I won't cut this out.
Okay.
Oh my god. But okay, something we skipped over for a second. We get introduced to several characters in the beginning besides Dina and Sam. We also get her two best friends whose names are
Kate
and
and
Simon.
Simon.
Thank you. Okay, cool.
They
it's
are.
gonna be
Drum roll,
seamless.
please. Yeah.
Sydney, Chelsea, you want to do
So
the
many
honors?
surprise reveals. Bet you didn't know they were lesbians.
Also
Bet
jump
you didn't know
scares.
these characters had names. Yeah.
Kate and Simon are sociopaths from the get-go, though. I love them so much, but they're just like, this girl that we liked and knew is dead. Like, oh, okay.
But here's the thing. I fully relate to Kate, the drug dealing cheerleader.
Scams.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is that, Sydney? Would you like to explain further?
I was a drug dealing cheerleader in high school.
Okay.
Also, I can see Sydney having that. Well, I know that Sydney had that like hot girl cheerleader, feared and revered kind of vibe, that she has. Like she definitely had some cute little D&D nerd like bowing down at her altar, just like Dina's brother, Josh. I remembered his name.
He's the best. So thank God you
so
remembered
cute.
his name too.
Yeah.
He is so cute. I love all of his little AIMing or whatever he's doing with the Queen of Darkness.
He's absolutely AIMing. Honestly, that is the most important thing in this film. The AIM representation is iconic. Did AIM exist in that way and look that way in 1994? I'm not totally sure. That sounds very early.
So.
But I didn't Google it, and I don't need to because I'm just glad to see it.
I was happy for it. And also representation for doing some weird, kinky online role play too young. My lady, queen of my life, your highness. Okay, Josh, go for it.
I just Googled and AIM didn't come out until 1997. So they were ahead of the curve.
Wow.
You know what? They created their
songs?
own timeline.
He could have been like in a chat room or something, which could have. And here's the thing too, that scans. Everybody in our generation was groomed in an AOL chat room at some point in their life.
I was not groomed in a chat room. I was out there being my own adult woman doing some adult behavior. I was not grooming anybody, but I was absolutely in the 5th grade being like, hello, I am 16 years old. My name, I just like make up a name. Yeah,
that's called all the other people that were being like, hi, I'm also a 16-year-old when they were like 47.
They were 40. I was 10. It's fine. We met in the middle.
Chelsea was on the message boards. I was on Omegle making friends with some man named Joshua who was definitely like 27.
Scary.
He didn't ever do anything weird though, so it was fine.
Everybody had older internet boyfriends back in the day. Okay,
that was just a thing. I like to mix it up.
It was strictly platonic. Okay. But yeah. That part of it was really special and relatable, and we love to see it. And also, he just has the sweetest little baby bean face, like sweet, round, cute. Give him little kiss on cheek. Love Josh. But also incredibly capable, knowledgeable. Behind that baby face is a big brain. So we love
He
that for
can get
Josh.
every snack out of a vending machine, and that's a skill more people
That's
should
hot.
have.
That's
He
hot.
would
Okay.
absolutely have his own true crime podcast.
Oh, yeah. It
And
would be
I would
more, it
listen
wouldn't
to
be
it.
a true crime. It'd be more like a cryptids podcast.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like.
probably
True,
right,
yeah.
actually.
That
Cryptids,
scans.
cryptids, and
Paranormal,
like
that
age
scans.
old folklore kind of thing.
Yeah. He's
And
coming
I
in
was
from a
like-
historical perspective. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
of course. Giving you the historical context, but also being like, this is how Bigfoot is real. And here's why. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
He'd get
mhm,
more
mhm.
niche than Bigfoot. I'm sorry. That was a lame answer to that. Mothman for sure, though. But the whole main gang of this movie, they're all awesome. Like I do love them. They do say things that make no sense a lot of the time. One of the articles I was reading, okay, I read one article. How about that? I'm not gonna make it seem like I did research for this episode because I didn't. I read one article and they were like, I'm a 90s kid and I watched this movie and I was excited for all the 90s stuff. And I was like, what are they doing? Because I feel like that does scan the 90s of it all. Didn't like land. You can forget that it's in the 90s because the fashion was like a little weird. I think that what's his name? I think that Maya Hawke, she looked pretty 90s, and the other stuff was totally fine. But there was like this outfit that Simon was wearing, and if this is 90s, then I want to see more of it. He was wearing like Bermuda shorts with like combat boots that came to match the length of the pants, and I was like, I've never seen this before in my life. It's like shorts that went right past his knee, and then this was like in the bathroom scene at the beginning. I had to like pause. I was like, what am I seeing right now? And he's wearing high boots and short pants. I don't know. No one should wear that. But if that's historically accurate, let me know. And I'm sorry, okay? But I was just like, oh God, burn it, burn the outfit. It's terrible. Burn the witch.
We were children in 1994. So if any of our listeners were in high school in 1994 and wore outfits similar to this, please
send
slide
me
in
a
our
picture.
DMs. We want to see this.
Please send me a picture of you in long shorts and towel boots. That's what I need. That's what I need to see.
I can't say that I noticed that at all. But I do love that he's playing with his style, his presentation. He's got painted nails, you know what I mean? And the rings. I think he has rings, right? Or
Maybe.
just nails at least.
I
just
remember
felt like
the
he had a
rings,
little
but
Harry Styles moment at one point, and I was like, okay, Simon.
I'm also just obsessed with that actor. He's so good. He's so good in this role. And I had just seen, I don't know when I watched White Lotus, but I watched White Lotus and he's the son in White Lotus and he fucking is hilarious in that too. He's good at playing a teen. Probably because like, I don't know if he is a teen. He could be 27 for all I know with the way that actors work. But I really like that guy a lot. And yeah, okay. Here's one thing that really bothered me right off the get-go though. Because we get introduced very quickly to all of the drama between Shady Side and Sunnyvale. Excuse me, I won't make that mistake again. But you know what I hate a lot? I hate a title card where if you don't pay attention, you're behind the 8 ball. And this had one of those. It was like a jam-packed information title card where it was like, pay attention to all of these headlines. They are all important and they will help you figure out all the clues. And I was like, oh, God, it's too much, too fast. I read slow. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I thought the credits were incredible and I loved them, but you can really only appreciate them once you've already seen all 3 films.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just throwing so much. I don't know that you're necessarily supposed to be able to like pick things out of it if you're not already knowledgeable. You know what I mean? I think it's just kind of like scene setting, like tone setting a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of fun Easter eggs in there if
so
you have
many
seen the movies.
Maybe that's why it felt like so information packed this time around, because I don't remember feeling that way before, because I like recognized all the things and I was like, how am I supposed to take in all this info in 1 minute? But I do think that the first fight between Sam and Dina that we see is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. because the reason that they broke up was like the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. And maybe it's because I'm not deeply entrenched in the shady side versus Sunnyvale sparring that's been going on for a millennia. But basically what I'm seeing is that Sam lived in shady side, and then her parents got divorced, and she went with her mom when she moved to Sunnyvale. And so then Dina was so offended by this that she broke up with her. And that's what I got from that fight.
Yeah, it's a little more complicated than that, because like they circle back to that conversation again later in the movie, and at that point Sam goes like, you're right, I was running away. So she validates Dina's perspective. But when you don't have that piece of the puzzle yet, it seems very insane that Sam's parents got divorced and then she had to move and then she got dumped, and Dina is still being like, fuck you forever. And Sam's like, literally, you dumped me. Why am I not allowed to be a cheerleader and get my butt grabbed? Like, how come I can't have anything
bisexual woman?
Here's the thing. I know, like, in real life, we're all absolutely team Sam because like Dina is behaving irrationally, quite frankly. But this is high school, okay? And we all know the more drama, the better. And so we're all team Dina.
Your feelings are just like so huge at that age. And when you get dumped or when you dump someone, it feels like the end of the world. Like I remember when I had a breakup my senior year of high school and my ex started like kind of seeing somebody new. I was like, I hope you are happy when you get married. Like I went like so insanely dramatic. I was like, I guess you guys are going to be together forever and I'll just be here alone. Like
I'll just die alone.
Yes, the way that you feel things is so huge at that age. And it feels like it's going to go on forever. Like Dina is being a hugely dramatic teenager, but also I get it. I get it. And then there's like the internalized homophobia stuff going on. You know what I mean? It's not just a breakup. Like it is a bigger, like you're denying who you are and you're denying who I am. And it's adding to the oppression that I face. Like, Dina's got it rough.
Yeah, I mean, like, and just speaking to that, like, I've not experienced being in a relationship with someone and someone's not out yet, but like that seems really fucking hard. That's why there's 20 shows about it. One of them is called Heartstopper on Netflix, and it's really cute. If you want to feel happy, you should watch that. Anyway, but like that does seem to be a very difficult predicament. So I get that. But yeah, I mean, as someone who didn't even have one relationship in high school, and I felt like I was falling into a pit of despair for every crush that I had. I can't even imagine if something had actually occurred, you know, because at that point in your life, like 4 things have probably happened to you, unless, you know, you've had a spicy life, in which case I'm so sorry. But like at that age, you've got about 4 life experiences. One of them's being born. And so everything is a huge deal. And so I get it. I totally get it. And I love the drama as an Aries. And so go for it, girl. Get it, Dina. You read her Miranda rights, but maybe don't throw a giant cooler at a moving vehicle. I know it was an accident, but that was a big boo-boo.
And here's the thing too, like, why was Dina's nose bleeding all of a sudden?
Stress? I don't remember if that comes up again in any of the other movies, but they both, like when Sam's nose bleeds the first time, it makes sense. And then the second time, it's also kind of just like fun, spontaneous nosebleed for the drama, maybe.
This has severe injuries from the car crash.
Yeah, it's just still going
like
in
throwing
there.
up blood.
Well, I think maybe the throwing up blood was just from her nose bleeding going down the back of her throat, and she like coughed it up, is what I choose to believe, because otherwise she's got a lot more internal injury damage then
that what
wouldn't have her like
happens?
walking around. That's what I'm assuming is what happened.
Does
Because
anyone
like
here get nosebleeds?
I don't, but you're not supposed to tilt your head back. You're supposed to tilt your head forward, because if you tilt your head back, the blood can go down. It's all connected in there: ear, nose, throat,
Yeah,
etc.
I have heard of that. It's like when you get a runny nose and it drips in your throat, then you gag. That happens to me
Yeah.
a lot.
Or it's like when you're participating in adult activities and you get a drip.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Oh, I think you have a different adult activity for a
Allegedly.
second.
I don't know
was so
anything about that, but I've
confused.
heard people explain it to me, you know?
Yeah.
I've heard it explained right now. Really didn't connect
Cool
at
to
first,
learn
but
about it for
we're
the
all
first
talking about the
time.
same thing now. Yeah.
But okay, why does everyone want to kill everyone? You know, why does Peter feel like he has to commit murders like immediately?
Okay, but
Yeah,
why?
like
What is up with Kate's? We're gonna murder them, and the bus driver's just like, yeah, I'm gonna drive the bus. Like, I'm not concerned about this at all. Like, okay. The bus driver's probably like, yeah, fuck Sunnyvale. We hate them. Like, good.
yeah,
for
the
you.
bus driver probably is like fuck Sunnyvale. But
Like yeah, commit a murder as a child. Do it.
well, but I also feel like the bus driver's probably like, they literally all just got in fist fights with each other. Like one kid hit each other with the broom. Like, I'll let them yell and scream and like let some steam out. Like that's fine. I'm just gonna drive them home and focus on driving them home. And it's Peter who is like, I'm gonna fuck shit up and cause trouble because I'm gonna tailgate a school bus. Like, what a terrible decision, point blank. And then it just really escalates and gets so much worse. Because even if they did what they intended and like just threw the Gatorade on the car instead of the whole Gatorade barrel,
They would have
I don't
still
think that would be a very
crashed,
safe
maybe.
idea. Yes, exactly. Like
Yeah.
they're driving so close to that school bus. That is so much asking for trouble.
Yeah, but they have
Yeah.
windshield wipers. It wouldn't have been as bad, you know?
Well, they were in a convertible too, weren't they? Oh no, were they? No, they weren't.
But they would have
I
like
made that
hit
up.
the brakes. They could have like skidded off the road.
It was
I
not
don't
smart.
know.
High school students
Yeah.
are smart. Are
Don't
not smart,
get into
but
fights on the road. Just point blank. Good idea. Good
Yeah.
advice to follow.
But
Road
like, how much
safety,
does it
etc.
suck that like you make one mistake, you throw one Gatorade container at one car and it crashes one time, and your one-time girlfriend falls bleeding into one tree one time, and it happens to be the evil witch tree on the evil
Yeah.
witch bones? That blows. That's some
That
cosmic shit.
It's bad
dude.
luck.
That's some bad luck. That is some
That
bad
is
luck.
bad timing, my friends.
You hate to see it. I hate it when that has happened to me. You know, it's just terrible. But there,
I do love that in the next scene though, like despite all the Sunnyvale shady side, absolute head-to-head drama, no holds barred, physical fighting, hitting each other with brooms, running each other off the road. They are all team. Nobody talk to the cops. Like they're all immediately team. Fuck the cops. And I just think that is a beautiful show of teen solidarity. Regardless, like I think them all getting on the same page just for that is very nice, because those Sunnyvalers, you know, they could have had a different attitude. That's their sheriff. Like seemingly Shady Side does not have its own sheriff or mayor. They just have to be under the thumb of the Sunnyvale authorities, and those Sunnyvale kids could have been happy to play along with their authorities.
I figured it out. You know what this movie is? This shit is Riverdale, man. This is the same shit as Riverdale.
But I don't like Riverdale, and I love this.
It's the same shit as Riverdale. I don't know what to tell you. Huh? I like Riverdale too.
Riverdale. I
watch the Chad Michael Murray season.
That is a good season.
I stopped after that
What is
because I was
the
like,
drug
you can't get better
called
than
in that show? Jingle
Jingle
Jangle.
Jangle.
Jingle Jangle.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because
That
the
show's
reason I came to
ridiculous.
that, the reason I came to that conclusion is because I was like, all these kids are so fucking hard. Like right away, they're like, as soon as like the skull guy shows up at Dina's house, she grabs a knife and she's like, I'm gonna fucking kill him. You know what I mean? And then like Kate like confronts him when he breaks into the house of the kids she's babysitting, you know, like they're all just like no fear. And I was like, what does that remind me of? I was like, maybe that time when there was like a full-on gang war in Riverdale.
Right.
People like brought like pipes and were just like killing each other. Like that shit is a common occurrence in that show. And I was like, these kids have the same vibe. And the Shady Side versus Sunnyvale thing, the little towns, it's giving Riverdale. It's giving Riverdale. It's giving Archie. And everyone's hot. So that's another part of it. Sorry, it's similar. The writing
No,
is
I think
different.
you're making
the writing
points.
is different, but it's there. The vibes are there.
You're for sure making points.
Also, can we just talk about like Simon? Are you really wearing the blood shirt like 2 days later? Like, absolutely fucking don't. That's disgusting.
That, but it also feels very teen boy. You know what I mean? Like I believe it from him. It
Yeah.
feels he's so fucking funny as a character. He's so funny to me. I just love every line that he says. I don't care if it's ridiculous. I think that him and Kate are so funny together at every single opportunity when they're talking about how they killed his brother, but then it was fine, not a big deal. And like,
they're like, yeah, it wasn't a real OD. He didn't die. Like, honey,
My favorite-
that's actually not the definition.
My favorite thing is Simon is like later in the movie, and when we go to his job at the grocery store, and it just pans and it just says like employee of the month, like for all these months
Every month. He
He's so good
loves
at his
it.
job.
He loves the grocery store.
He's committed.
Dude,
Okay.
oh my God.
There's a point
Also-
earlier in the movie too where he's like, come pick stuff up. We've got crazy deals right now. Like he knows those sales, baby.
He's like, why
He
did you buy this?
deserves
We
that
had this
Employee of
for
the
$2
Month
off.
placard. Exactly.
Also, I love that like the fact that they're drug dealers is like the Chekhov's gun like thing of this whole movie. They're like, remember that for later. You know, like that's gonna be the thing. I couldn't believe that. I still couldn't believe it now. It was less horrifying to me this time around. But the first time I watched this movie, the last little bit, I was like, this is one of the more disturbing things I've ever seen in my life.
It is absolutely fucked up. And it is also fucked up that what happens after that when she like gasps, blah, 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 awake. She's fucked up on pills at that point.
Terrible
like, that
experience.
part still happened. What a nightmare. Can you imagine? Right to the hospital.
I can't. But okay, the shit just goes from like crazier to crazier, because let's just talk about the hospital whole scene, because everything that happens in the hospital is outrageous. I love that we have like a gender non-conforming nurse in this too. We get
Nurse
get
Betty.
a gay in many different ways. Nurse Betty, Beddy. I love that. With a hot pink lip. We love to see that. And that is their drug supplier.
They're out of what? Oranges and bananas?
Blueberries, yeah, or something.
Bananas and blueberries.
Blueberries.
Yeah. They were running low. They noticed that supply was missing at the hospital, guys. Got to get those fruits from the grocery store. He works in the pharmacy.
I love all the kills in the hospital because they like really kind of come out of nowhere. We haven't had any kills since the opening scene at this point, right? And it's all about Dina and Sam having this epic showdown again while Peter watches, and then Peter's just dead and you don't have to fucking deal with that prick again, which is something that is ideal. I love a surprise stab through the back, you know? That's a long knife.
Peter's sleigh was a sleigh. I will say that.
But the nice nurse at the front desk didn't need to die, and Betty could have lived. That's homophobic. So
during this, our Lord and Savior Pride Month, Betty should have lived.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think they explain more of like the mythology of the killers in for sure part 2, and I think also part 3 at least a little bit. But that is one thing that I do think is a little confusing about this movie and sort of like this series overall, is like how that whole thing works is a little wonky. Like
I
she
agree.
just yeah, I from what I'm this is gonna be spoilers for all three parts a little bit, I guess. Apologies. But from what I recall, the way the witch works is that like every few years she adds a name to her
Yeah.
stone, and that person
Becomes a
becomes
crazy
possessed,
serial
like
killer.
Sam
Yeah.
with Sam at the end of this movie. Yeah, we see her name on the stone, we see her go killer. And so like you had the skull killer in the beginning, Ryan Torres, and then you have them coming
did
after
shit.
yeah, you have them coming after Sam because her blood on the bones awakened things. But it's not really
Yeah.
clear, like, do they just rampage forever? Do they have to kill a certain amount of people? Do they just go until they get stopped?
I think it's
It
like they'll
seems
kill. Yeah, no, because yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like you're saying, he's killing all these people. He kills the two nurses. He kills Peter, but then 5 seconds later, they're like, "Oh, that's so weird. They didn't kill me, and I was right here." As they were heading towards Sam, it's like I didn't even exist. That's literally like 5 seconds later, where like Simon's like, "Oh," or I don't know which character it is, was like, "Oh, the axe guy ran right at me and didn't try to kill me because they were going for Sam." Then well, why'd they have time to kill all those other folks? I don't understand.
yeah.
Right.
I think it's like
Were
when
they
your
confronted?
name is added to the list, you rampage until stopped, essentially.
But he had already been
You're
killed.
right. But I think when your name is added, you rampage and then you're stopped. And then the bones, the blood awakened the killers again to go after the person who had the blood. And I think they don't kill if you're not directly in their way, if you're not like directly between them and the person they're trying to get to. But like Peter is between Skullface and Sam and Dita when
Okay.
they're having their conversation. Like
There, I'll allow
Betty
it.
is standing right in front of Skullface when he stabs him through the neck chin area. I think that is like the rule, if you will. And like Ruby Lane goes after Simon because of the blood. You know what I mean? Like she wouldn't have been
Yeah.
interested in him otherwise.
Okay. All right. I'll allow it. That makes sense to me. Because I was like, wait a minute, something's not adding up.
Wait
But
a
yeah,
minute.
clearly they're just right in the fucking way, you know? And
What
which
I
case
wanna
that's
know-
grounds to kill for sure.
Yeah.
Move.
What I want to know is why didn't we see the Humpty Dumpty killer? Why didn't we see the milkman? I want to see that little baby who kills people.
I know.
I guess
Where
you
are
can only
they?
fit in so many, and I think maybe more do make an appearance in part 3, if I am remembering correctly, but I could be wrong. Because I don't think we see all of them, and maybe the witch is like, that's enough. You know what I mean? I'll just call it my 3 most recent or my 3 favesies or something like that. Because there's no way those are the 3 most recent. But also, I didn't memorize the list of names on the stone. They
she
might be.
obviously brought out the hottest ones. And the ones that apply to the later killings or the later films.
said, "Look,
Excuse me.
Ryan worked in a sex shop. That's hot. He was flirting with Maya Hawke. That's hot. Ruby Lane confirmed sexy by
Is
everyone
hot.
who sees
Yeah.
her.
It's hot.
Voice of an
Nightwing,
angel.
He was a camp counselor. You know what I mean? You know,
Camp
camp
Nightwing
counselors are
is
hot
the
by
next
default.
film, and we need to promote the next film.
Yeah.
So we have to have that one in
that
it.
too. And also, it's like a very fun, iconic visual killer, and
with
it's
the
like such a
scarecrow
reference.
head thing.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
I
not a
think when we
scarecrow head.
did Friday the 13th, like we saw there is a literal moment in that movie with like a flour sack on the head kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very
But I don't
Friday the 13th too.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh.
yeah. That's what it's
A
from.
clear reference.
Yes.
clear reference.
That's what I meant. But I haven't seen it, so I only have the knowledge and not the personal experience.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get
We're
there.
gonna
That's
get there in due time.
yeah, but I love because the movie escalates pretty quickly. We've explained a lot of what they figure out, so we don't have to go into all of that. But it ends, it doesn't end, but it leads to them going to the school to like figure their shit out and come up with a
Well,
plan.
don't forget the
What?
part where they're at the police station right before the Ruby Lane attack, where Dina attacks a cop and steals his gun. She does drop
Wild.
it immediately after she shoots Ruby Lane. She should have held on to it. But I mean, I guess I saw that it was pointless. But I just think that is so fucking bold that she stole a cop's gun. But I also loved, I think this is the janitor from the mall, and I think he gets a name at some point, but maybe not in this film. Where I think it's his line where he goes, "Sheriff good, more like Sheriff motherfucking evil." And that's just a little Easter eggs for later. So I just think that whole scene is iconic too. And then like Simon peeing outside and like hiding his dick when the car peels out. I just think every moment here is great. The cop is yelling at them after Dina attacks him. He's like, "Go find your boyfriends. Tell them you need to relax. His gauge art is not functioning. He doesn't have one." That's probably for the best.
And the subtext for that is like, "Go get fucked by your boyfriend."
You hysterical
and
girls.
it's so fucked up.
This movie is an ACAB movie. They really are.
They lean in. The whole plot turns into that too. So, spoiler alert for the later film.
Yeah. Stan.
It's
Yeah,
got
I
a
just love
strong ACAB theme throughout the trilogy.
And I love that they like sprinkle it in throughout. They leave you little clues.
Little
you know what I mean? Like
to fuck the police.
Yeah.
But like then they finally go to the school, right? After this whole thing, they steal an ambulance. That, by the way, that
well, they go back to the woods.
First, and is that the part where they uncover the entire skeleton and then they fucking freak out and then they wrap it in a fucking Letterman jacket and they're like, "This should be fine."
And then Simon is like, "We're sorry." What does he say? He gives it a little kiss and he's like, "We're sorry."
Yeah. I just think it's so funny.
Good.
Yeah, they're so good. And then in the ambulance again, because they stole an ambulance also. They're little criminals. I love it. But in the ambulance, they start to put together the blood thing with the shirt. And he says, "It's Jaws, dude, a shark smelling blood." Because they had Jaws on the TV earlier when Kate was babysitting. And by the way, the fact that she put those two little girls to work sorting her pills, entrepreneurial spirit. Like, she's out here, girl boss behavior.
Girl boss.
Girl boss.
It's incredible. It's incredible. But
then they go to the school.
Then they get to the school and they come up with the best plan I've ever heard of in my entire life, where they're like, "Let's blow up the school." Like, they're literally like, "Let's create a bomb," and they create a bomb. Like, that is what they do. It's like a really well thought out plan. They put blood in a bucket and they use mops and they do all this elaborate shit and they use the fucking air ducts for Sam to escape, and then they literally explode all of the bad guys into smithereens, into gobbledygook all over the floor, and it still doesn't fucking work.
First bathroom scene is actually such good setup, because it's not only did they introduce the drug dealing and the pills, not only did they introduce the legend of the witch and like what is written on the bathroom stalls, but they're also like, "Don't forget about this air duct. Like, that is also going to be relevant later." That scene did a lot of work, a lot of heavy lifting.
I didn't think about that. That's cool. There's a lot of foreshadowing. I love foreshadowing, you know?
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah. I love
it?
a movie thinking ahead. I do think no one was thinking ahead when Dina and they all went off to get decontaminated. And then Dina was like, "Let me just fuck Sam right here, right now. And I'm supposed to be getting all traces of Sam off of me, but instead we're gonna fuck." Like, is that a wise choice?
It was hot though, so it was
It
fine.
was risky. Yo,
And
I
then
loved
Kate
it. I'm so
and
glad they
Josh
did.
made out too, which I was like far
Mhm.
fetched, but we love it. And then Simon just jacked off.
Which
Right?
I also,
That
he's
was
an icon.
so-
And he's
We
like, "Did you guys
stan.
all fuck?" And he was like, "Oh my god, me too."
Me too.
I'm obsessed with him. Sometimes you're in a scary situation, and how you gonna relieve stress? You know,
It
It's a
relieves
great tactic.
anxiety, okay?
It's a great
Uh-huh.
tactic. I need to chill
He
out
said I
right
need
now.
to
Hold
be
on.
clear-headed. Yeah. Let me just get some stuff off my mind.
He's like, if this is gonna be my dying day,
Wait,
I
what's-
will orgasm
Wait,
for it.
what's
Like
that phrase? Clear eyes, clear hearts, can't lose.
clear eyes,
pure
full hearts,
full hearts, can't lose.
lose. Texas forever. Okay, baby.
That's it. That's the vibes. That's the vibes. It works every time, you know, except it didn't really work this time because they're dealing with something supernatural, you know, they're doing their best.
Yeah. The fact that the goop can reconstitute itself is frankly unfair. And I think we've seen some of that before. IMDb trivia
It's
tells
magic.
me, yeah, IMDb trivia tells me I think that was a clear reference to like
To Flubber?
Hellraiser or something, maybe.
No, it's a clear reference to Flubber.
You're right. You're right.
That is a horror movie.
Flubber. Yeah. Honestly, it probably scared somebody. Maybe somebody even here
Somebody
right now. Not me. I
has
don't
a fear
recall. But
of goo. They really hated
oh,
like
for sure.
2015 when everyone was obsessed with glue or goo, not glue, excuse me.
You mean slime?
Slime. Pardon. I'm
Here's
so
the
sorry.
thing.
You can tell that I wasn't one of those girlies, but I lived with one. And the other one is here on the pod. It's Sydney.
I've been a slime girly since the 90s. Okay, like let's be about. You got to be about it, Monica. Come on. And you also enjoyed our slime parties, okay?
I did. I can't deny that.
Yeah, but I mean, slime aside, when the goop reconstitutes itself, you know, it's you've reached a very tricky part in your supernatural survival story. Like you get to the question, like, is survival even possible? And the answer is maybe no. So I'm not saying that Kate was making points when she said, let's sacrifice Sam. But I won't say that I don't take her point. You know what I mean? Like classic trolley problem, you know, classic philosophical question. You do what you can. They gave it their best shot. They exploded people. But at what point do you call it quits? And do you call it quits by dying in a suicide pact, or you know, it's
by
just, it's one of those
sacrificing
great
that bitch who
questions.
broke your best friend's heart. So
Yeah, like you don't even want to date my best friend. First of all, I'm supposed to be loyal to you. Although technically they're now back together. So like at that point you are supposed to be a little loyal to her, but you can remember that her parents got divorced to that bitch. But yeah. Thankfully though, Sam is like, I'll die for all of you. And then they realize you don't have to. And also the fact that you were willing to means we're willing to die for you now. And they have like a little friendship circle. Yeah, they circle up, they all hold hands, they put their little faces together and they go friends. Which was a real scene in the movie that you can watch for yourself.
yeah, it happened. I remember it. It was really,
yeah.
I cried.
Yeah, it was really beautiful, really touching. But that's when Josh's true crime cryptid historical discovery ID knowledge comes into play, because he's like, don't worry guys, I brought all of these newspaper clippings here with me to school and they didn't get burned up in the explosion. How fortuitous is that? Let me spill them on the floor right now and see the clues laid out before my eyes. Seaberman survivor. And honestly, like, Josh is the key to this whole thing. He really is. He got the snacks. He knows the cheat codes. He got a little kiss. And he uncovered this Seaberman mystery.
Josh is the linchpin of this group.
so true, but here's the real meat and potatoes of it. Yes, they do end up being right, but they found one article, they made one deduction from that one
Yeah.
article, and they're like, we have to kill you and bring you back to life, and that's the answer. And they're so fucking sure. They're like, if we just
Yeah.
end your life and bring you back, which is very easy. No, it's not.
I mean, they did it
We'll
with
just kill
Simon's
you.
brother. It's fine.
Yeah, look,
of course.
Timothy
That happens every time.
We did a speed run practice round with Timothy a couple years back. But yeah, I think the thing about that is so fucking crazy is A, they're right, but B, the assumption they made 1 moment ago that it'll all be over when Sam dies was literally not based on anything, because you and I know from parts 2 and 3 that what's happening in the beginning of part 1 with Sam as the target, that does not happen in all of the other witch killings. That's a whole different thing that's going down. Like, she disturbed the bones, she got her blood on it, she grabbed them, she had the little visions, she saw the witch. You know what I mean? That's not happening with Ruby Lane. Like, they're making a logical jump that is not based in reality, and they just happen to come to the right conclusion regardless.
Yeah.
They got lucky on a math problem. They guessed on multiple choice.
Spoiler alert. It's not even fucking correct.
Exactly.
No.
Like,
they're all wrong. It's just like that's trust, that's love. Be like, yeah, baby, kill me. I mean, they don't have a lot of options otherwise, you know? It's like die or be killed by your friends. But this much is definitely the more traumatic option for all parties involved, I would say. Having to kill your lover. Because then we flash forward, now we're at the grocery store, and they're like, yeah, so here's how to OD and die. Here's instructions, and here are all the pills. It's so fucked up. They're like, this one's going to make you feel good. And then these ones are going to make you feel real bad. And then you have to wait 5 minutes, because if you don't wait 5 minutes, you're going to fucking really die forever. And then you take these ones, and then you'll die. And don't worry, we got enough epinephrine to bring you right back, honey. Don't you worry about it.
The girlies were ready for manslaughter, okay? Like, they were just like, this is our time. We will shine. We paid attention in chemistry. It's chill.
It's just
horrifying.
It's not that they wasted time, everybody boning at the school, because they, boning or otherwise, would have had the same time after the goop reconstituted to get their butts over there to the grocery store. But she takes 2 handfuls of pills and immediately the killers are there. Like, they took their sweet ass time getting to the school. They had time to grab a bucket and a mop and pour blood all over the halls there. They have absolutely no time to prepare in the grocery store. Like, it's just bad luck, babes.
Yeah, also, like, I get why they're putting the blood on themselves to, like, keep the guys distracted. But, like, I just felt like it was a bad choice. Also, our girl Kate was wearing a mesh top, so I'm like, honey, you take that off. The blood's still on you. Like, you're fucked.
Simon put it directly on his bare chest.
You got no out. You got no out, baby. You're in it till you die, and then you do die.
And Dina needs to be there with Sam to ensure that she's taking the pills and waiting the time. Like, it's a 1-to-1 game out there. You've only got 3 distractors and you've got 3 killers, and they cannot die. Like, the odds were never in their favor, which is insane, because somehow the first time I watched this movie, I really thought they might all make it out. And I really
so too. And I think that's why I didn't like it as much the first time I watched it, because I was like, fuck this shit, they killed all my favorite bitches.
I know.
I was like, you kept, because that's when I didn't like Dina as much. I was like, you kept fucking Dina, and you're not gonna keep Simon. But also, like, you kind of need the main character. I get that. But
no, you don't. I would have given up Sam and Dina to keep Kate and Simon because they were better. Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know why we can't have everybody. I don't
Why
know
can't
why.
I have it all, okay? God.
Here's the thing. At
Yes.
least not a single precious hair on Josh's head was harmed.
Except his heart is
Yeah.
broken and shattered into a million pieces because
Yeah,
his lover,
Whatever.
his first kiss,
His true
is
love
dead.
is Queen of the Air and Darkness or whatever her screen
And
name
he
is.
gets to tell her about, he was like, no, Simon and Kate were my friends and they were good people, okay?
Self-righteous AIM chat speech at the end was so cute.
It
It's
was
like,
so cute. Let's be honest though. If Kate
And he's
survived,
doing
she's
that
not
one-
kissing Josh again. His heart's broken either way.
And here's the
You
thing,
know
now
Maybe
he
what?
has
an
a
if
nice
we die
fantasy.
tonight kiss.
It could have
Yeah.
been different.
But here's the thing too. I love that he's like in the chat room, like being like, no, blah, blah, blah. And
No.
Dina is like fighting for her life against
Wait.
Sam.
Chelsea, also, it is not the same if she dies or if she breaks up with him.
I'm
Jesus,
just saying,
fuck.
in terms of his broken heart, it's broken either way. He's got
Yeah, those
survivor
were the
skills to
same
deal with.
thing. Jesus,
I'm just
fuck.
saying. I'm just making the point that she never was gonna date him. You're right. The psychological damage is different. Are you happy?
Yeah, but just to really dive into the pain that I felt, like I don't ever want to see anyone die from a drug overdose because this was a dramatization and ridiculous, but it was fucking disturbing. Like I was so upset. She's like crying and like throwing up pills. I was like, this is horrifying. Like, why is this happening in this hokey ass movie? Like, it was too deep. And then also, this is because I'm a silly girl. But when the point when like she's taken half the pills and she needs to take the last bit, but everyone's being slain. And then Dina's like, "Oh, the lobster." I was like,
you and I
she
thought
was
the same
looking
thing
at-
the first time.
She was looking at the water tank, and I was like, "Oh fuck, she's allergic to shellfish."
There's a shellfish
I was like,
allergy.
"Oh fuck! Thank God, there's a lobster. She's
Good
allergic."
thing
to
they've got
shellfish."
the EpiPens. All the EpiPens 100% contributed to leading us to that conclusion. They said we have EpiPens. There will be an allergic reaction.
Just have
A
the lobster bite her.
Her throat's gonna close up.
And
I
then
really
was
thought
so
that was what was
confused
gonna
too because they like
happen.
had the lobster like walking down the street. I was like, why is the lobster walking away? Did they
They
put
need
blood
that.
on the lobster? I don't know. It was just the lobster of it all. Like really took me out of it for a second. But yeah, I
That's
guess
her
drowning.
lobster, okay?
Oh shit! Yeah, fuck. Great point, Sydney. It's beautiful. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
It's thematic. It's gorgeous. But yeah, then they just drown her.
Yeah.
That was also disturbing. Does it
Yeah.
take that long to drown someone? I guess that Sam has a big lung capacity because it felt like it took a really long time for her to drown. I don't know. I don't want to ever find out.
And I know from Let the Right One In that 3 minutes is too many minutes. Wasn't paying attention to the clock this time. It felt both short and long to me because like they were really cutting in between. And so it's one of those things where it's like hard to know how much time is actually passing in the movie world, which made it feel a little fast, but also we are at the same time watching someone's head go through a bread slicer.
Yes, let's
Again,
talk
And that's
about that.
really distracting. Can we, let's do
Let's
that
dive
whole
deep.
moment. Mhm.
Here's the thing.
That was awesome.
That might be one of my favorite like on-screen kills that I've seen in a really long time. Like it was
It's gruesome.
creative. They show it. One of the things that I do like about this movie is that like in the beginning, like when Skullface is killing Maya Hawke, like they show it like go into her. It's like very visual, very visceral. And
It's
this we
graphic.
get, it's very graphic. It's very, and for this to be based off of an R.L. Stein
Yeah.
book, you know, like when I saw that they were doing Fear Street, I was like, oh, it's gonna be kind of like a kiddie movie. But I also forgot that Fear Street was geared toward teenagers, and what does teenagers love? Violence.
Huh? You know
Yes.
teens. You know
I
those
didn't
scenes?
expect it to be this bloody, but I remember when we went to the screening of the second one, the writer director like went up and was talking about it, and she's like, "Yeah, we wanted to have like as many children be murdered on screen as possible because like literal children are like murdered." Spoiler alert in the second one. And I was like, "Oh yeah, she's fucking gruesome, man. She's
Yeah, her
fucking
name
balls to the
is
wall."
her name is, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Lee Janiak, I think. And she
Yeah.
literally ended her little speech and then was like, let's kill some kids. Like she was not holding back even a little bit. She was fully prepared. And then they do kill literally so many kids in that movie.
So
It
many
is a
kids.
shit ton. It's
We
a
saw
shit ton.
But like, my God, though, Kate's death, like you see her brains all come out. It's like it's not like a cake. It looks real. Like, is it a cake
Real
or
or
is it a
cake?
girl? It's real. It's real. And I mean, I know we can't have like two, three. I guess three horribly gruesome deaths back to back, or people will just shit themselves. But I wish that Simon's death had been a little cooler. But he did get
deserved.
his head sliced in half, which was pretty cool. But it could have been. It was just so abrupt, and he didn't get to
Yeah.
put up a fight or anything. It was just over, and I was just like, Simon deserved something. He's employee of the month.
Yeah, he is employee of the month. Um, but yeah, I mean the bread slicer is so unbelievably iconic. I think the abruptness is kind of fun. Like you want more for Simon, you want him to have his
Yeah.
moment, but also like the shock value of it is
Oh,
great.
yeah.
And then like everyone
It's-
closing in on them as like she's fighting to die as fast as she can, face in the water. It's a moment.
Also,
The
when
skull
Sam
face
like
coming over
holds,
Josh.
yeah, and when Sam like holds Dina's hand as she's murdering her, I was like, holy fucking shit, it's a lot,
Woof.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
But I also like that, because it is magic. What's happening is like a curse and a magical spell and blah 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 blah. Cause a witch, that cursed everyone. Spoiler alert. We already know that. You watch this movie. That's clear. They tell
Tell
you.
you in the beginning.
They
It's
tell
the
you in this
witch.
movie.
And then is it the witch? I don't know.
But all the shit just disappears, and I liked that too, because then you finally get you get a fucking reprieve, but not actually, because we got to still bring Sam back to life, and thank God she didn't die too, or this would have just been a depressing movie.
Yeah.
But it was still
Yeah.
pretty sad. It's also sad that like in the end, all the killings from that night get pinned on Simon and Kate. Like that's like, yeah, all of them. Peter,
Here's the
the
thing
nurse,
though.
Betty, and yeah, all three of them get pinned on Kate and Simon because they were there when it happened. And
But
they
it
said there was
doesn't
like
make any sense how then they die, one of them in the bread slicer and one of them. What I feel like the implication is that like they got involved in like the drug world and then like things went to shit within the drug world. And so they're being like those kids were junkies, like blah blah blah. But I don't think they like fully married that in the way that they meant to, in a way that is clear and makes sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense
doesn't
for
make
them to
sense
be the
either way.
murderers and also get murdered in the fashion that they did. It's not like they had like a gun shootout and they both shot each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. They're like, do you want your friends to go down for this? And like, there's no other option because they're not going to believe that like resurrected dead people did it. Unfortunately, society wasn't ready for resurrected dead people to be the culprit in 1994, and it's so sad, but it's a product of the time.
But
Sheriff
here's the
Nick
thing.
Good really wanted them to go on the record with that though. And for what? For why? What was he trying to get?
Here's the thing. If you did it now, people would be like, yeah, I believe that. Like we'd be
People
like,
would be like,
that
yeah.
stands for us. Like, yeah, that
Of
makes
course.
sense. I fully
if you
believe
tell me
this.
that,
Oh,
if
zombies,
one of
sure.
you came to me and told me that, I will believe you. That's a promise. Okay, I'm ready. I'm open to magical thinking. Okay, but when I was watching this movie, I was like, how the fuck is there so much of this movie left? And I forgot that there's like the whole like mini third act that leads into the rest of, it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
You get lulled into that false sense of security, like, oh, the lovebirds are together again. How wonderful. But I think they handled the ending really well. Like the phone call from the sister who survived, and she's like, no, you're fucked,
Lieberman.
bitch.
Mhm.
Like it's never over. And she turns around, like the Sam looking so fucking feral with the flies around her.
Oh,
And like the
yeah.
reveal that she's like, it's not like she's about to do something, she's already stabbed Dina. I thought that
Mhm.
was really, really cool. And I also felt like it was very Scooby-Doo that the way she subdues her is with a phone cord, like a mile-long phone cord. That was epic.
They said we have to set it in 1994 just so we can use this phone cord to wrap somebody up and subdue them. It's the only way. It's the only way this movie makes sense.
No, and I
But
agree.
yeah, the pulling out the makeshift like shiv, and that's when you realize shit has really gone down. Like that is so good. It's so
It was
good.
good. It was
I
good.
just think it's such a great way to like lead into the rest of the story, to have like kind of tied this one up but then be like, but wait, there's more. It's like I cliffhangery enough without being too cliffhangery. And the fact
Yeah.
that that next movie only came out a week later, I thought was like wonderful. Like that's how maybe 2 weeks or something like that, but that's how
I
it
thought it
should
was
be
one
done.
a month, but I don't know. I loved it. I loved it. No, I think it was closer than that. I think
Yeah,
you're right.
it was all in the span of a summer at the very least, and I want to say it was maybe all in July, but I could be wrong.
Oh no, it might have been all in July. That makes sense to me. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
they
just
also then have the preview for the other 2 movies, so that's what really gets you when you see like 13 minutes left.
Yeah.
They're throwing a lot of things in there to be like, don't forget to come back, and they put so many spoilers in there, but I guess you don't really know that they're spoilers necessarily. And so many are put in there to misdirect you and to trick you on purpose.
Totally, totally. I can't remember what the reveal is in the second one, but I remember being like, "Oh shit, they tricked me. It worked." But anyway, now we've got to get to our segments. I didn't do it. I almost did it, but I didn't do it.
Segmentos?
No. How could this very gay movie be gayer? Simon could be out.
Simon would have a boyfriend.
Yes.
I almost feel like Simon is exclusively interested in women, but perhaps genderqueer.
Ooh.
He's so horny for Ruby Lane, and he is not expressing interest really in it. He's got straight guy energy.
That's true. That's true.
Style, like,
he's metrosexual.
Yeah, he could just be a straight guy who paints his nails, but I also would like him to be in the queer community. So he can be like non-binary, genderqueer. But I do think he's exclusively interested in women.
That's fine. He's just too funny to be a straight man, you know?
Yeah.
There's gotta be, there's some spice in there. There's some spice in there for sure. I feel like Kate would have experienced some things in college. Too bad she never got there.
Yeah.
Oh, Kate is the bitchy bisexual for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Every movie's gotta have one. But yeah, I think she's so focused on her studies and being president of every club and being valedictorian and making flamethrowers on the spot, which we didn't mention before, so I just felt I had to give her shine for that moment now because it was great. But yeah, she's not, none of our main little crew, maybe Josh. Josh might be the straight cisgender male that he seems to be in this movie, but also he could be bisexual. Why shouldn't he get to be bisexual?
He could be bisexual. I love that for him. He could be a little bisexual simp. Good for him. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
We need him. We need that. We need more bisexual men. Okay. So spread the word.
Yeah. And I don't really know that Sam's interest in Peter is like valid at all or real at all. I think she was just kind of doing
her bisexuality.
No. What I was gonna say is I do think she is bisexual. I just don't think she's interested in Peter.
Yeah, he's too much of a douchebag. But
The Peter just like the slots fell into place. You know what I mean? She was like, I can't be gay. I have to move to Sunnyvale with my mom, and I have to get a boyfriend
to
so that
date
she
the
stops worrying
straightest
about me
man in
dating
the world.
Dita. Yeah, he just like was the first to walk across her path, and she's like,
And he's
"You'll
really
do,"
good at
'cause
grabbing butts.
he's got the wingspan for his hands. So
You got them hands.
yeah, but I liked that she was bisexual and that Dina was a lesbian. I like that we got both. I thought that was fun.
The whole spectrum. We're getting the whole spectrum here.
Mhm.
Okay, then
We got
that
an L, we
adds-
got a G, a B, a T.
Yeah.
There was no B in this movie because the Babadook was not in this movie.
The Babadook did
so-
not make an appearance. Where was he? Was he
And-
busy?
And we all know that the B in LGBT stands for Babadook.
That's
Mhm.
the only bisexual
icon.
erasure I will accept. Erase me and replace me
Replace
with
me
the
with
Babadook.
Babadook.
That is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Also, just a little quick shout out. If you guys didn't know that Guillermo del Toro Cabinet of Curiosity show is coming out at some point on Netflix, and one of the episodes is directed by the Babadook director, and I'm fucking ready
Ooh.
for it. Yeah, that shit looks
Okay.
awesome. Check that shit out. They're not paying me. I just got really jazzed when I watched the trailer. But anyway, okay, that brings us to the age-old question. Where would Matthew Lillard go in this film? Where could he be? Where could we add him in? And I think he would fit into any place you want him to be in this. He would be great. I think he should just be like a cameo, a dad, the cop.
He's the bus
anything.
driver.
Yes, but he would have been a great Nurse Betty.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I think he would have been a funny Sheriff Good.
He
So
would have
where
been
it
a funny
goes-
Sheriff Good. Yeah, I think it could have tipped its hand a little bit, possibly.
Just had him be Ryan and really jump the fucking jump the ghost is what I just
You
said.
know what he could have been? He could have been the janitor at the mall who
Mm.
see in jail.
That would be
And
fun.
Josh gives
That
him
would
the
be
little
fun,
paper
too.
clip so he can
Yeah.
let himself out. I love that scene.
But that would have been a cute nod. I would have liked him to be in it. I think it would have been a value add. They could have found a way.
Here's the thing, though. There is a guy listed in the cast who played Ryan Torres, and then there's a different guy listed in the cast who played the Skullface Killer. So it seems like they didn't necessarily have the Ryan Torres actor doing all of that parts. Like you could have put Maddie Lily under any of those costumes. You know what I mean? He could be the Camp Nightwing guy. He could be the Skullface Killer. The Skullface Killer, especially because we never see that guy's
That's so
face when it's
extreme.
not Ryan Torres's face. He could have easily been under there.
The beautiful
But also
cameo,
he
a little
could be-
Easter egg for the fans.
He should have been the milkman who killed housewives, and he should have been part of the movie.
Oh yeah.
That would
Make
have
him
been
one of the
awesome.
old killers. That would have been so fun.
That would have been so funny. Rewrite history.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm, mhm.
And then who would you say is the dumb bitch in this movie?
It's hard to.
Peter.
Yeah, the answer's Peter.
Oh, that's a good answer. That is a really good answer. He is the one driving the car that's tailgate. Honestly, it's his fault.
Fault.
He sets the whole rest of the movie in motion, arguably. Because I'm not going to blame my sweet little gal Dina. It's not her fault that she got a
No.
nosebleed and dropped to the barrel. I mean, it was an avoidable situation, but they wouldn't have been in that situation if Peter weren't tailgating first and grabbing butts first. You know what I mean? If butts were not being grabbed at that vigil, Dina
The
would have never
rage
had to
wouldn't
run
have
away to
existed.
cry. Yeah, it would have been a different.
He
It would have been a
just
different
been-
interaction.
Respectful of Maya Hawke's death, then things
Mhm.
would have been different. It
Yeah,
all goes back to that.
yeah. Okay, Peter,
know-
it is. Fuck Peter.
Fuck Peter. Fuck Peter. All right, that brings us to our knives out of 5s. So, what did the good people feel about this movie in 2021?
They on IMDb it has a 6.2 out of 10. So like they liked it, but medium liked it. And then on Rotten Tomatoes, critics liked it. It has 84% fresh. And again, audiences liked it medium. It has 62% fresh. Which to me, I think is low. Because I had a lot of fun. I thought it was a blast. Like, there wasn't, other than some of the logic, maybe not quite logicking the way that I would want it to, especially in regards to like the conclusions people are drawing about Kate and Simon at the end of the movie, like the whole they were the murderers, like that just doesn't make sense to me. I'm more willing to accept the rules that we like laid out and talked about in terms of like the killer and stuff like that, and like how the whole curse stuff works. But I think they do so much setup for the rest of the trilogy. They do so many clear references to other horror movies. Like, they have in the bookstore scene in the beginning, they have some R.L. Stine books in there. They have a bunch of books with the author listed as Robert Lawrence as a little nod to R.L. Stine. There's like the Scream clear reference is really clear. But there's also references per IMDb to The Village, to The Shining, where they're like really capturing some of to Flubber. Yeah, they're really capturing some of the exact like camera angles and like choreography and stuff like that. I just think they do a lot of really fun things with this movie. The bread slicer, most of all, which, and I didn't mention this before, but per IMDb trivia, and I'm going to read this directly, the art department tried to convince director / co-writer Lee Janiak that a human head wouldn't go through a bread slicer, but she was adamant that it would. To prove her wrong, they bought a bread slicer and shoved a watermelon through it to show her it wasn't possible, but to their surprise, it worked perfectly, and everyone in the production office cheered. Yay!
Fuck yeah! Stick to your guns, baby.
Hell yeah. And I didn't really read the original series, so I don't really know what happened in like the Fear Street books. I only have the knowledge from like IMDb trivia and what it tells me. But I think, I don't know, I'm a book purist most of the time, so I think if I had read the books, possibly I would have been like, that's not how it is in the books, you get it wrong. But because I haven't read the books, to me, the way that they like changed some of the mythology to create suspense and surprise and twists that they can reveal later on, so you don't know everything, I think they had a lot of fun with it. And also I read a theory online somewhere that Lee Janiak is a supernatural girly, because she uses Carry On My Wayward Son in I think 2 different parts of the trilogy. And the main characters in Supernatural are Sam and Dean, whose names might sound a little familiar to you if you recall the main characters of this movie. That's so funny.
The whole movie is a Supernatural fan fiction.
Yeah, I mean, Sam and Dean are brothers in Supernatural, which
I always thought that they were the gay ones for each other because I never watched the show because there's the Castile thing.
That's a big ship, even though they're brothers. That's a big ship on that. That's how that other gay guy came into the show, because they were like, we need people to stop shipping these 2 brothers.
The vibes are there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, okay. What were you gonna? Yeah. What would you rate it?
That's what I was getting to. For me, I just think it is so fun. Like, the whole trilogy would probably be a different rating, but if I'm just looking at part 1, I'm giving it 5 knives. Like, to me, it is so fun. It's a blast. It's smart. I don't care if it's Riverdale vibes. I'm having a great time.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you had a good time. Sydney, do you want to go next?
I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. It was fun. I loved all the violence. Kate and Simon, I want a spin-off movie on how they like started drug dealing and all this kind of stuff. I want to see Simon working at the grocery store, you know, like I just want to see a day in their lives. Like if they were TikTok stars, I would be their number 1 fans. You know what I mean? Like they have big,
I'm watching those daily vlogs, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the writing's a little cheesy. It's a little something like that, but like I still had a really good time. And I do at some point want to watch the second and the third one.
I'll watch it with you.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Let's do it.
I'll definitely watch the second one with you. Third one, I'll do it. I just don't remember it as well.
Well, maybe it'll be great. Who knows?
Who knows? I'm also gonna give this a 4 out of 5. I think that it is fun. I liked talking about it with y'all. It made me like it more. I just like I'm giving it a score that high because of Simon. Like that's the main reason why. Like he's so funny and he's so adorable and he's the
It's
best.
delightful.
I think some of the words that they say are words that do not exist yet or something. Like just absolutely bizarre phrasings. I remember watching it and being like, what? And parts of it I did feel like I struggled to it struggled to keep my attention. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And that happened both times that I watched it. So I don't think it's like 100% for me. It's not. But I'm really glad that like it exists. I'm glad that Netflix like did this, and I'm really glad that this gal who is the director, Leah, right?
Lee.
Lee Janky. I love that she's
Janiac.
like
Lee Janky.
Janky, Lee Janky, my girl. No, Lee Janiac. I love that she's so fucking brutal. You know, she's fucking
Yes.
brutal, man. We need more of that. People are pussyfooting around the violence. I need to see it. And she gives me that, and I loved it. Give me more shredded heads in the future. Thank you. So that closes the door on Fear Street Part 1, but hey, there's 2 more parts, so you never know what'll happen. You know, they're all a little bit gay, but this one's the gayest by far. And that's closes us out on Pride Month too, because though there's one more week in Pride Month, we're doing a thing, baby. You know about this thing. We're doing it all summer long. It's called Final Destination Summer.
Final Destination Summer.
And we're going into our second installment now with Final Destination 2, and I can't remember what happens in it, but I know that we'll make it gay enough for Pride, right, ladies?
Yeah. And also, we gave you 5 Pride movies last year. It evens out in the grand scheme. So
Yeah.
even if it's not that gay, we'll make it gay. And either way, it's one of the most iconic Final Destination openers at the very least.
Oh yeah.
So to be
definitely.
iconic is to be gay. Probably.
Here's the thing. It's gay because we say it's gay.
We're
It's
in
gay.
charge.
You decide.
This is our podcast, so
It is
we
our
make the
podcast.
And
rules.
we decide.
Yeah.
I'm excited because this is the one with our babe AJ Cook from
Criminal Minds.
and Sydney and I are big Criminal Minds
Criminal
girlies.
Minds Hive, rise up.
Rise. So yeah, I'm very excited. And I'm so glad that we are doing this as a summer long thing because I had just enough time to miss the Final Destination movies. Just enough time. So
You
I'm ready
need to have the
to
break.
confront
Yeah.
death. You
They're
know,
so-
again.
They're so stressful. They're so cringe-inducing the whole time. You need to have some space in between them. I think.
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah,
Final
yeah.
Destination Summer is the perfect strategy.
They give you existential crises if you're me. Anyway, you know, we're coming to the end of Pride, but we're still right in the middle of it. Why not say something you're proud of in a 5-star review for our podcast on Apple Podcasts? It could also be something you're proud of us for doing too. That would be fun. Like Sydney, I'm proud of you for just being yourself and having beautiful eyelashes and
You want to know what you should
bringing
be
the
proud of?
violence every week to the pod.
Monica, you know what you should be proud of? Your
Yeah.
suggestion of putting castor oil on my bush has really helped it.
I am so proud of you for having a full
Thank
70s bush. I'm so
Thank you.
proud of
Thank
you.
It's
Wow.
Pride, baby, and we are proud of our pubic hair.
Yeah,
Anyone
that's
should be.
something you could be proud of too. You could say something what you're proud of yourself for or of us. We will accept either. It can have nothing to do with anything. But be proud, okay? I'm happy for you. And please give us a 5-star review. Anyway, why not also follow us on social media at spooky_Tuesday on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and we're also at Spooky Tuesday Pod on Facebook and Tumblr, and at Spooky Tuesday on Letterboxd. And thank you for listening.
Bye, Spooky.
Wait. Did you all go to Pound Town? Me too.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Haidt, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Captain Tamara, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram at the_moon_omg.